when Draven banned, Jin's an answer, but it's kind of a soft counter. Might be opened up since we have the Kindred that can supply the DPS in these fights. But I think it's going to be really tricky to deal with Jinx. And like, even if you go for something like Xayah, yes, you can somewhat dodge out on Nocturne, but that tether continues while you're up in the air with that ultimate. And Jinx outranges you in lane. And on red side, you get access to support counters. So I really don't like this pick for Wako. I think it's the time to go Jin and just play utility and let your Kindred be DPS. I don't think the Xayah is set up for success. Now, yeah, just take things to outrange it. Syndra's a great pick into Xayah Orianna here.
Syndra locked in.
And it's Xiaohu Syndra.
Yeah, Xiaohu Syndra too. Jeez.
Yeah.
Nocturne, also another champion. You know, we talked about Orianna getting through. Nocturne has been banned pretty heavily in this series as well. So another easy executable combination for Tian and Xiaohu, maybe feeling that they've discovered what will really let them cook. It won't be as early as last game with, you know, the Flash Pantheon stuns at level 2, level 3, but over and over again, expect to see Tian diving in where Xiaohu's in range to land a stun, and if those two line up, with how squishy this comp is for Ultra Prime, they're dead.
I do like the Alistar ban coming out. I'm a little bit surprised that we see support bans because I'm expecting for Pong to get 5-pick here. But Alistar uniquely interacts pretty well with Nocturne, just the spell shield. You have multiple ways to get around that. And also you get some control over the Lamb's Respite from Kindred, just using the displacement that Alistar can bring. So I actually think I like that support ban. I think it's warranted. And from here, you see Ultra Prime. Do they take away Tahm Kench too? Because Thresh is one of the ways that you can give Jinx a lot of safety. Tahm Kench seems like a wild ban to throw out, but depending on what Ultra Prime wants to pick, could be an option. And instead, they see the Ornn ban, say, hey, Renekton could be good for them over on Weibo, so they take that away. And
whoa!
Okay, Hong gets a hook champion, and they ban the Thresh, but not the Blitzcrank. And it's just going to be Blitzcrank being used. That does give you some control over Lamb's Respite, but that is blinded. So, I mean, the Alistar ban makes a lot more sense now, because that's actually one of the counters. You don't want a Tahm Kench. With the Xayah, I'm kind of curious what they end up doing into the Blitzcrank. Brahms off the table. That's one of the counters. Yeah. Leona's off the table. Rel is off the table. These are all pretty playable in the Blitz. So really down the totem pole in terms of what support RosieLove is going to get to play here. And curious to see what he goes with. I don't think he has a lot of options.
I think so. Bard's the hover.
It's not a terrible one, but
it's not
doesn't
terrible
feel great.
One.
Yeah,
I know Renata is an enchanter that obviously is susceptible to those hooks, but I like her into dive comps regardless. It's a tough spot to play. The Bard will be locked in. Here's what I'm going to say, Cubby. We have already seen a masterful MVP earning Blitz performance from an LPL support in a Game 4 to clinch a series. Are we here once more? Is that Feather or Hong?
Was that Feather? Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
Hong
Feather.
was. Yeah, he was known for his hook champions when he first joined the LPL. So, I mean, really curious to see him just pick Blitz and kind of throw the gauntlet down. Again, I see Jinx. I'm like, you have support, 5-pick. That sounds great. Instead says, no, I can take the Blitz down. Enough champions are off the board where I feel like we can pilot this. Again, brings displacement. The silence really valuable against Kindred as well. So they have some control over Lamb's Respite. And then speaking of displacement, they open up that 5-pick to get Gnar a decent matchup. So Gnar Udyr will have shove early, but Gnar, we've seen Breathe Gnar. It's a champion that he loves. And again, that Mega Gnar giving you more control over Kindred Ultimate could be really important for Ultra Prime in this one.
The one gotcha that I will give over here to Ultra Prime, very bursty comp, obviously, and the hook can have troubles, but Kindred's Lamb's Respite is obviously a game-changing ultimate whenever you can get it. If you can get it down when a target is jumped on by Tian's Nocturne, when you have that absolute power coming through, it can really negate a lot of Weibo's punch. But it's such a hard ultimate to time right, position right, and like you mentioned with hooks coming in, if it is, you know, Junhao that gets hooked, you're really just dropping it on yourself. And if it's somebody else that's getting hooked out of it, the ult becomes useless. So we'll have to see how that ult plays in as we are getting set to head to Summoner's Rift for what could be the final match of our night if Weibo Gaming take it over Ultra Prime.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll see if they can get the same start they did in the last game. Keep in mind, Tian got the ball rolling. Him and Xiaohu they participated in all 8 of the first 8 kills. They all went into their hands, and it was playing through mid, attacking Sabers had, frankly, a pretty tough series for Ultra Prime. So I'll see if that ends up being the same strat this game, or if it ends up being something different for Weibo.
Let's crank games. I mean, level 1 Fiesta regardless, and Weibo are trying to disguise Hong right now so you can line up a hook, but Ultra Prime are setting their own trap in that river brush. All 5 members of each squad pretty huddled up towards this top river, but I think things could settle down a bit more here, but you can really feel the tension of both squads trying to bait this level 1 to go their way.
Do want to see is we take inventory of some of the keystones being selected. Glacial Augment from Hong. So not electing for the Aftershock. I gotta say, I think that's the right call this time around. It's pretty hard. Like, there's only one melee champ where he could consistently proc that on. And that means that if he does connect with one of those rocket grabs, will be harder to get out of, more pressure on Ultra Prime to burn summoner spells or abilities to escape that. As we do have the lane swap showing for Weibo will be predicted by Ultra Prime, so will be standard lanes, and Breathe will be a little bit late to that bot lane. Missing out on some XP.
Hong going to step up, go 1 for 1 on his first hook. Gets the slow off that Glacial Augment, so Light can get a couple more rockets in. Always fun to track the hooks hit for these Blitzcrank players because there is no champion more feast or famine than Blitzcrank. You could be hitting your hooks and be one of the most powerful champions in the game, or you could be a glorified melee minion.
So far, Hong doing a nice job. If he is able to connect with some of these hooks or just showcase the pressure of it, it is range advantage for Jinx into Xayah. And that is very important at times in this matchup. Again, I really like Jinx into Xayah. I think if Xayah is pushed around early, gets behind it all, Jinx is the better late game champion. If you are playing at that range, Cinder's going to help support that. And so Light, if he's given the space, we've seen what Light can do. Really solid marksman that we have here in the LPL, and has a lot of setup this game to do wonders, as that's
Wako
out of Wako.
Just presenting himself for a pretty easy hook here. Gets away with just burning the barrier, but 10% HP maybe as this wave comes crashing in. He has to be pretty careful. Ignite isn't available, but Hong is hunting with these hooks that are just itching to come off cooldown.
I thought we were going to see a flash burn there from Wako, as
I like it. I like it. He's hunted.
Yeah, nearly found that one. There are some goofy mechanics with minions and hitboxes. If they get pushed around before they actually aggro on another minion, they actually are not pushed around in the game, only visual. So that's like one way that you can play around with hitboxes, and you can see Hong trying to do that, because I don't think that melee minion was focused yet on someone.
Oh, he got him again. Knock up the chompers. Will we even see Wako get the flash off? He does with the feather pullback. Does grab the root onto Light, who burns the barrier, a bit protective. But it's still just Weibo bot lane supremacy right now.
Yeah, nice rip there from Wako to save himself.
This should be a mark.
Yeah, one positive so far. Junhao not only going to get the mark, but also has access to that bot crab. That said, not going to be able to access it because the priority right now is on top lane. And with all the pressure, the lead that Weibo Gaming has, they've actually forced the Xayah and the Bard off and going to force Wongjung to TP top to catch this. So good use of TP here from Wongjung, frankly. But now Weibo, they get to decide where they want to put their duo lane on the map. Do they want to go match the Xayah and Bard that will now be relegated to the bot side? Or do they want to throw them back up top and already set up an easy grub take and potentially some very positive work towards that first turret? Looks like they want to keep the duo lane, and frankly, can't blame them with how well it's going so far.
Intriguing seeing how heavy turret play Weibo have had in this series. You definitely get a lot more damage onto plates like they have in games 2 and 3. But I like it. Threaten the hook onto those champions without those key summoners over and over again. Try to get yourself that first blood, set yourself up for feats. And Breathe will be fine. The one good thing about Gnar is no matter how rough your lane is, it just takes one big ult to make a difference. Maybe one big hook to make a difference in this early game as Hong's going to hold on to it. Good flash from RosieLove. Knockup didn't come in time, so Hong's hook does go wide.
Yeah, really well done, actually. There's a little bit of a bluff that you can do there with Blitzcrank. Of course, if you connect with a knockup and you flash, you can still follow through with the rocket grab. So RosieLove really playing on that narrow window to make sure that he was able to flash out of that. Wasn't actually power-fisted into the hook. So well done.
Barrier, the only summoner that Ultra Prime's bottom lane is going to have access to for a bit here. Heal coming soon for RosieLove. So Hong's window to really make dividends continues as Hook's going to land through those minions like you talked about, Cubby and Wako. He has barrier up, but I don't know if they will prevent the first blood. One more rocket. Oh, the ignite is a tick too short. and Wako once again escapes certain doom,
He's dead.
and it's Breathe that's going to fall. First blood. Thought it was gifted a Weibo. It's Ultra Prime that grab it towards Feats of Strength.
Wonjung's up in experience. You can see almost up a full level after the solo kill from Breathe. Did have 6 to Breathe's 5. Some of that was from the lane swap early on. Breathe stayed mid to soak XP from mid, but missed out on the solo lane. Bot set behind, Wonjung able to cash in. Meanwhile, RosieLove gonna get chased down.
They're gonna follow it. They're gonna flash. You could tell Hong and Light really wanted to kill finally after coming so close, and they get a key one onto that hyper-scaling Jinx.
Yeah, frankly, I think if Light burned the flash in that skirmish against Wako, he could have gotten the kill and gotten out. If we do get a second look at that, not going to be the case. Instead, it's going to be Wonjung. Did have the freeze and just forced into Breathe. Forced Mega when you are Udyr. Oh,
Great flash.
actually, that's a pretty good flash. You deny the attack speed buff as well. I'm not sure if he gets the attack, or no. Not sure if he gets that in melee or not. I don't think it matters if it connects or not either. I'm trolling. Anyway, well done. Good flash. You got 6 and we were able to catch it as we talk through that one live.
Sometimes we have to break down. We have to learn the breakdowns first too. All right.
I'm in my head, you know. When you ESNAR, you get an attack speed buff. I don't know if you get in Mega or not. I don't think you do. You do. You definitely do in Mini.
Yep.
And then you know you dodge it. I was thinking of the Camille. You got to hit Camille Z to get the attack speed buff. You know. I'm trolling.
Junhao is not, though. Oh boy, Hong's at it again. Knock up into Hook, into Chompers. RosieLove's going to try and glide around them as Wako's looking for a root. RosieLove able to get the slow, and once again, limping away with a blinking health bar as Light and Hong are unrelenting. Thing I wanted to point out, Cubby, is Junhao's had a hell of a game with these marks. Oh no, Hong, he just won't stop. He's just not letting these two get any sort of rhythm established.
Yeah, it takes a free heal too. Of course, the grubs were secured by Weibo, so that is one monster objective down. Dragon was not traded back, so if Weibo were able to get this upcoming dragon, would be 2 out of 3 feats of strength. And we've mostly seen trades so far with these early monster objectives. We've yet to see a team get the first 2, and that would be really big if that can happen here for Weibo. As of course they would be pretty much well on their way to picking this up, just given the lead that their bot lane has. They've shifted them back bot to try and help secure the Drake, secure some plates for themselves. You gotta imagine.
It's the Hong show still. We do have the Paranoia up and available. Xiaohu has established himself a bit of a CS lead per usual. Not as massive as the last couple of games, but look to see the passing of the torch potentially from Hong and Light's bottom lane escapades to the Tian, and maybe Hong link up that we've still been looking for, jungle and support.
Well, I mean, at the moment, everything, at least for me, is focused up on that dragon. I know Tian's not here on this side of the map. Both of our junglers are working their way towards that top side, but with the priority that Weibo has in the bot lane, I'm surprised that Tian's wrapping up his full clear and not skipping anything to actually take this dragon, just because the pressure that you have right now is Weibo down bot into Wako, and with this matchup you have, it's really tough for Ultra Prime to deal with.
Breather's had a tough time with the Udyr. Going to get help from Tian, who's covering, stunned. Great use of the Ram stance there for Wonjung, so he doesn't get stunned up. I think Tian might have flown in with the Paranoia. Both junglers paying a ton of mind to these top laners.
Bree's going to have to hop his way on out of there.
Yeah, I wonder if Wonjung was just going to proxy, but now looking for that dive with Junhao here. Breathe able to hold his own, and Junhao really can't cut down the angle. This is all just signaling me. Why? I'm curious why Tian didn't just sprint bot for that dragon like you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm top lane resources, they matter a lot.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, TP
Tian,
coming in.
Yeah,
Good
Junhao flashes over the wall. Lamb's respite gonna drop as he's the lowest one. Gonna be a man advantage for Weibo as Xiaohu's coming in, and Junhao has to be left to the wolves. Or maybe just Tian grabs that kill. Weibo build a bit more gold in their early lead.
Yeah, that priority not being on Dragon does lead to some more kills here for Weibo. And at least matching the jungler there. You have Tian getting out on the map, able to get there first. Is a good flash from RosieLove to get out of the Super Mega Death Rocket. From Light will save his life.
Those flashes, man, they're coming off cooldown for these
Bree's
two
dead.
bottom laners. Breathe is dead. Mini, does it get him executed? All right. I mean,
Nice.
it's costly for the flash, but you at least don't give gold. RosieLove, that is a blitzcrank with combos up. He's going to hold the hook, land it. Xiaohu is here. Gifted a free kill onto that scaling Syndra. It's been a rough one for RosieLove and Ultra Prime's bottom lane.
Did I see like 116 pop up for gold? It can't be that low for what Bard's worth at 0-2. But man, it didn't look like he got a ton of gold off that kill. Still a freebie, and the important thing, the dragon. Why? Feats of strength. 2 out of 3 already secured for Weibo. Second grubs have spawned, so if Tian makes his way towards there, it does have all of his camps up yet again, but could be big, because that would secure one of the 3 feats of strength overall. And then either team at the moment, first tower away from picking that up on their own if that does get picked up by Weibo. So, of course, one of the new mechanics of the new season. And at the moment, the Ultra Prime, they realize how dire that second grub could be. Not just that, the fact they're down 0-3, they send a lot of resources up here to try and secure it. We'll see if we get a fight. Tian does have ult up.
Oh, flash right on top of Xiaohu. Gets over the shockwave with his own flash just to get him out of safety, into safety's waiting arms. Hong's hook goes wide. There is a big Bard ultimate to slide up onto Light, who has to flash himself back. And Wonjong does not take any damage currently. Hong flashing to safety. Xiaohu now being hunted down by Wonjong's Udyr. Picks up the first kill, but Breathe finds himself a trade with Light behind him. Rocket to the face, and it's Light unleashed. Finally for Weibo Gaming. Couple more rockets could find the kills onto both Saber and Wako, but they limp away to safety. It was bloody. Wonjong tried to play hero, but it's Weibo again with a fight win.
I mean, that Udyr was massive in the fight, but Wonjong, he overplayed his hand. Yes, he was forcing multiple people off, ends up going down, gives away a big shutdown, and that really allowed space for Light to play the fight with Breathe, who did a really nice job to set up this Jinx and got some very important gold over to Light's pockets on the Jinx. Is now sitting at 3-0. Let's see what Light walks out of base with. Could be big. But man, Udyr was huge in this fight. I like the setup on the Xiaohu. The flash from Xiaohu was fantastic. But from here, Wonjong, I mean, look at how much damage this Awakened R is doing from the Udyr. Does a nice job, just sets up to take down Hong, and then starts forcing off the entire backline. I mean, pretty much takes down Xiaohu on his own, but this is where things get big, because Breathe actually able to sneak in here, finds the engage, syncs up with Light, takes down a few, and Wonjong nowhere to help heal for his backline that was already in tough shape, and ends up going down as he overextends himself. A lot of gold goes over to Tian off that.
The grubs do split 3-3, so nobody gets that. It's actually a monster gain for Ultra Prime as a Hong hook throws Wonjong under the turret. Luckily, he's the tankiest member of Ultra Prime and walks away limping, but to survive. So, oh, Rocket downtown. That is online, and Light has arrived to the series. We've been asking for that big-time AD carry moment. Might be this game, but a tempered fate from RosieLove is going to stun up too. Hong, the target of most of the damage, gets another good Bard stun from RosieLove. So, trade back, a bit of revenge there for Ultra Prime support.
Still, a lot of this, I mean, there was a war for first brick. Yes, blood does go over in favor of Ultra Prime, but that brick went over in favor of Weibo. Again, important for the feats of strength, as they already have 2 out of the 3 monster objectives secured. So any more that go over to them is big. And Junhao, you know, that red buff looked tasty. It actually went over to Light, which is a bummer. At least Junhao gets out with his life, but...
no flash.
Yeah, did burn the flash, and honestly really expensive in terms of tempo.
Weibo grab that first turret as well to get closer towards those feats of strength. Tian not punished too heavily for it as well. And another turret going down. Just what Weibo have been dominating the most at this series is turret destruction.
Yeah, I mean, that's what grubs can do, man. And we do have grub split this time around. We have had a couple games in a row where it was grub advantage from Weibo, which I think they played out decently well in both those games, especially, I mean, even in the loss. I thought they actually used their grub advantage decently well. This time around, though, we'll be even. So that turret destruction might slow down a little bit this game, just given that we have a handshake in terms of the power of grubs. But still, the meta has really evolved, where if you do pick up grubs and get a grub advantage, you are just prioritizing those turrets, playing out mid and one of the side lanes to really send 4 members and shove down those side lanes really effectively to utilize your grub advantage. So with it being 3-3, I'm wondering what ends up happening, because I think that we're going to pretty much see more of a handshake here, but I don't know if that's good or bad for Ultra Prime, because I feel like they should be using this lead on Wonjung to just draw pressure to wherever he's at and make plays elsewhere. So I would love to see Wonjung continue to really play and posture aggressively on this Udyr while he's ahead.
Without a doubt, because that helped alleviate the real problem that we point out in draft that has now just been fully brought into reality. There is no way to compete with Light in this game if you're Ultra Prime. It's a daunting task to even find any damage onto this Jinx with the comp they've drafted.
Yeah, I mean, that's very fair. Kind of why they have to neutralize it with the Udyr, you know?
Yeah.
Him just being as tanky as he is he's going to get the flash from Hong. That is a valuable flash, as Blitz can do a lot of unique plays with that. And Herald will be picked up, so feats of strength will be decided by the next monster objective. That said, Breathe.
Turret, though.
Yeah, traded it out, and that dragon is up. And with that reset being forced from Ultra Prime, we'll see if Weibo ends up going for that. That would have been their chance to secure it. But instead, we're looking to see if there was any defense over this top outer play. Ultra Prime were disciplined and reset, which now gives them an angle to take this dragon. So Weibo really prioritizing these dragons, or towers over the dragons, which is a bit interesting, given how powerful Soul's been so far in this series. I don't love this one for them.
Yeah, Xiaohu needed an extra wave to even get this tier 1 turret down. Wonjung will fly over to catch the wave. He does have teleport. A lot of pings coming down towards this bottom river. Xiaohu going to take a very key reset to grab some items. Already have Breathe channeling his teleport, so now Weibo are going to make the big-time commitment to play for this.
And maybe they want to force the fight, so like that's why they didn't just take it to trade it. That's one like path of logic I can see, because they were looking for the fight on top side too. And wow, looks like this is going to be uncontested. Yeah. So Ultra Prime, Wonjung stayed top. No TP burned. Didn't feel like they could take the fight, and now they're going to try and take control of this top side and see if they can get Weibo to misstep.
Oh, but Xiaohu just teleported over their head. Looking for a flank play on this Syndra. Not going to take the long way around. Looking for a multiple-man scatter of the weak. Rift Herald gets no use, by the way, from Ultra Prime.
Yeah.
Doesn't even crash into that mid-tier 1.
Kind of a nice seesaw here from Weibo. There's nothing else they can take on this side of the map besides mid-inner, given all the camps are down, but didn't fall into Ultra Prime's trap on the top side. Stayed disciplined with the side of the map that was strong for them. And actually, I mean, got them the neutral Rift Herald, as you pointed out, Slayer, so not bad.
Not bad, but the fears for Ultra Prime continue to grow. It's good to see them still leaning into those side lanes, shoving in constantly so that Weibo can't play towards their very team fight heavy composition, but this has only given Light more time to scale up. Does go the Hullbreaker route, so you nerf the three item Jinx power spike everybody likes to talk about. Isn't a reality here. It's going to take a bit longer, but it's not going to feel like that much longer because Light is 2,000 gold ahead of his lane opponent. Still 4-0, the first one of 2 items. The first one that will be able to even grab those tier 3 Berserker Greaves.
We'll see if that's the next one for him. As I gotta say, I still hate the Hullbreaker AD builds. You know, I somewhat understand why we're doing it. It's 40 AD and 500 health. It's a lot of stats. You do a lot of damage to turrets. But it's not the spirit of what we're used to with Jinx, you know?
100%.
Don't feel like Hullbreaker was meant to be built by our marksman.
No, it definitely wasn't designed that way. And specifically in this game, I don't like it either because, like we've been talking about, it's hard for Light to, unless he's mispositioning, to actually be in threat to die and nerf his damage output. Like, if you were playing in a comp that wasn't able to protect you as well, you were playing into a lot more divey champions for Ultra Prime. Like, if Light and Wako switched, I would get it a lot more. But there's just no threat to Light's damage output, so why not just fully index into damage output?
Yeah.
Hi, Atacon.
I will say that at least with Jinx passive, like there is an on-hit feature to Hullbreaker, so you can utilize that. Just Jinx gets a lot of attack speed from her Q if you are in minigun. And the AoE Q is nice too, but End up seeing if it gets any use in the team fight. At the moment, getting use against the Otacon, as this is being taken very close to the spawn.
This is what we were expecting when Otacon spawns. Ultra Prime teleporting up here to stop the take. Otacon about half HP, going to reset.
Oh, Breathe yoinked it.
Oh, Breathe did yoink it. Good spot.
Yeah.
Another voracious Otacon, by the way. Ooh, there's a stun, and bye-bye Wako. Okay, good use of the Feather Storm. Nerfs the damage of Unleashed Power. 2 key ultimates traded, though. Tempered Fate. Xiaohu has to commit the flash to get over it.
We'll say if we're going to fight the objective now, I think a lot of times burning flashes to get engaged spells out is good. Just the struggle at the moment is they do see Wako. He's yet to reset, and for me, that's really where Weibo should think about starting.
Here we go. How quickly can they get Light? That first kill. Breathe flying on in for a big gnarl. Does not line it. Tian is chasing down Wako, has no way to dodge out on the paranoia damage. And Light is untouched. Sure, you throw down the Lamb's Respite, but it just sets up the meat grinder that is Light. Couple rockets later, and it's an ace for Weibo, and they break open a deciding game 4.
Man, Xiaohu was a little bit late to join this fight as he had the base and TP back, but that angle that he took in the scatter, this is why his Syndra is so feared, why he was able to play this pick in the top side. He is too damn good at this champion, has always been that way throughout his career. This scatter is just beautiful for him. See you later in the fight. He's got to get back into it with a TP, but at the start, things are okay. Breathe kind of whiffs the engage, but Wako not resetting puts him in such a tough spot for this fight. He is completely taken out of it by Tian. And then look at this TP. Xiaohu went to one of those wards, waits for the Lamb's Respite to expire, hits a beautiful scatter that takes down Bard, finds a stun on all, and makes it easy for his team to wipe that fight.
Is that the dream fight for a marksman player? I don't think Light took damage.
Yeah, that was pretty easy for Light. It's nice to be positioned in the river when the rest of your team has everyone like up against walls and just finding every angle imaginable from the jungle. You just get to kind of that's where the marksman likes to be. Hold space bar and just hit what's in front of you, right? Just get the tunnel. Yep. The team's making it happen, man. Don't even have to look elsewhere.
Certainly don't. Now to be even more aggressive, as while we watch that replay breaking down the fight, Weibo secured the revive Otacon, so they'll use that to be ever as aggressive. Feel confident just starting up this dragon, mowing through it on their own. Probably have about 2 more minutes of this revive buff, so we'll see how crazy maybe Tian and Hong specifically want to get.
Personally, I love to see when Tian gets crazy. I feel like that's one of LPL's greatest pastimes. For better or worse, we just go in as Tian. We're now in the dream Tian scenario.
Especially on Nocturne.
Yeah, you can die. You can just press R and die for no consequences. Let's go, man. Let's get in there.
I mean, if you die, and if 3 of you die and you get 2 kills, that's a positive gold trade with the new buff. Tempered Fate not going to find Light. We talked about that being the only way to really cut down the distance to get towards Light. And his buzzsaw of a Jinx at this point. It doesn't help Ultra Prime that they already bled so many turrets earlier on. They've got bot waves shoving into inhibitor turrets. Mid-tier 2 soon to fall as well. Just a masterclass. Weibo have really woken up since dropping game 2.
Yeah, really like the Swifties on Hong. A couple good things for Blitzcrank. First off, the highest base move speed. Second off, the W, when it wears down your, I think it's overdrive, it reduces the slow when you have Swifties. And also with the feats of strength, extra power for Swifties grants you extra move speed when, I believe, you do damage or heal someone. So really, really useful on Blitzcrank. It really helps keep that threat of the Rocket Crab up at all times.
Power of that Jinx passive, if you chain structure damage together, I mean, blew through the inhibitor turret, then has the permanent attack speed buff for the inhibitor, and just like that, it is super minions coming through the bottom lane for Ultra Prime.
You're ready? So the swiftness, like the upgrade, if he is able to secure it, I messed it up. It's not when you do damage. That's the Ionian.
Yes, the Ionian. Yeah.
The swiftness, it just gives you 4% total move speed, and it multiplies all other forms of move speed. So like when you press W on Blitzcrank, or like, let's say you pop a Cloud Soul, you're getting even more out of that. Or even if you have points in like Celerity or the move speed point in the runes that sometimes supports take. Like that, it all multiplies on top of each other if you get Swifties and feats of strength. So good to see some more Swifties. even from Bard this game. I don't like it as much on the Bard this game, but still, I think that this is a boot that is sometimes underutilized given its price and just how valuable move speed can be in games. So good to see it on a champ that gets a lot of value out of it, like Blitzcrank. Pop it here.
What's using that Hex Flash? Poking, prodding, seeing what Ultra Prime will give him for openings. Light, by the way, does have the Runins done. Is one job. Good use of the ramp stance once more. Nerfs the hook from Blitzcrank. Breathe and Mega might look to get a little crazy here. They don't have the Octagon Revive. Does jump into Junhao. Forces the flash out of him. That's a well-timed blast cone, though, as Breathe gets to safety. Lights go out. Where's Tian going? While he's going for the one guy they cornered. One Zhang left by his team. Dropped off the tanky member for Ultra Prime down. And Weibo looking for more here. With Baron available up towards that top river. Tempered Fate down. Does get Light. Into the Shockwave. Will not find Light. Perfectly timed flash. Another double Bardstone. Wako's going to step up. Trying to get all this feather damage through. But it's just not enough to make a difference and convert picks into kills. Snare onto Hong. And the fight fizzles out. And Weibo now can freely turn on to Baron.
Yeah, I mean, while that was going on, Breathe picked up top inner, picked up Mega, and now Baron's just being focused down. Health bar is gone here for Ultra Prime, so that skirmish, while they didn't lose out on it entirely, they do lose out on the map entirely in the back half. And Weibo, looking like they are putting the finishing touches on this 3-1, which did feature, honestly, a pretty close first two games, but once they drop that game, they really feels like Weibo has locked in and has shut down Ultra Prime. Also, do like some of the comps we have in the back half of Fearless. I know, like with Fearless Draft, you do get so many different looks, but with a lot of pieces that go missing later on, sometimes it's pretty easy to form identities over just a couple of like small cores. I think throughout the season, it's going to be really common that we just have Viego comps. Like, we're just going to play Viego, see if we can get resets, and go from there. That was the one game that we actually saw Ultra Prime win today. This one, something like the Syndra plus Jinx, like, hey, strong backline, already have Peel, let's find some pieces to put around it. I feel like the few mix and mash of pieces we saw from Weibo in the back half are pretty good today.
Where is Hong? Where is Xiaohu? All right, we're getting a little crazy with it. Nobody near them. Xiaohu shut down. One Zhang cutting off life from really stepping up to try and find these trade kills. It's Tian that forces out the Lamb's Respite, so Junhao should survive. Breathe, I still don't understand how Breathe survived this long. Might actually get a kill onto Saber. Tian dies and falls, but it sets up who else but Light. Hits the zap as a fadeaway after nailing down the Udyr. And 1, 2, 3, zap again. Not going to land, but Light is forcing all of Ultra Prime back. We were waiting for the Light special, the difference maker. And boy, has he shown up when it mattered most here. Supers with Baron pouring into the Ultra Prime base, and Light's looking for more.
Yeah, I have no idea how Weibo found themselves at where they were at the start of the fight, but at least their wallets helped them get to the back half of the fight, as Light was safe, was getting the autos down, and was able to somewhat thrive in the chaos that his team was creating. As man, he's now 9-0-3, has that Hurricane completed. So, of course, on Jinx, when you get the Mega Rockets and the Hurricane going, can be a lot of damage if you are stacked up on top of each other. See what else Light can do.
He's juggling Scuttle and Dragon Agger right now. But let's take a look back at this fight. Xiaohu, that is the most crazy flash ever.
That is a crazy flash from Xiaohu. He wanted to send a message to Wako about something. Not exactly sure what motivated him to do that. But hey, you know what? Respect to Breathe. He followed up the team captain of Midday, and he was like, if my mid's doing something crazy, I'm going to do something crazy too.
Ocean Soul for Weibo. It feels like the final nails in the coffin for Ultra Prime are soon inbound. Down over 10k gold.
You know what, Slayer? I figured it out. They got Wako's flash out before the Baron fight. They thought it was still down. It's got to be it.
Oh, Rocket. Oh, barely goes wide. And Tian takes a ton of damage here. Lamb's Respite out. Healing comes across, and Saber's just deleted. It's Xiaohu pressing R, and now the finishing touches are put down by Weibo Gaming in the form of rocket barrages from Light over and over and over again. He nearly executes Wako in his own fountain. This matchup started out as a love story on social media, but ends in a heartbreaking breakup as Weibo claim the series 3-1 and move to 2-0 in Group B.
Ultra Prime, they continue their trend of playing Weibo somewhat competitively, but Weibo really tried to set aside that narrative in the last two games as, we did spend a lot of time talking about jungle support. Really feel like Tian and Hong, two of the new faces for Weibo, can be the ones to really step up and provide the spark that this team needs. We think could be really good for them given the carries and the solo laners that they have on this roster. You know, we saw Tian dominate Game 3. Saw Hong really make his mark on his Blitzcrank in that Game 4. So again, a lot of positives that you can take away if you are a Weibo fan in the back half, even if you weren't too thrilled with how close games were against Ultra Prime earlier on in that series.
It's the LPL, and especially early, it can get kind of mixy, it can get a little chaotic. The important thing is that the Weibo prevail, headline being 2-0. It will virtually, unless Group B gets a little crazy, this should virtually lock Weibo into that next stage of Split 1. But talking about the jungle support, like you mentioned, I think the last 2 games illustrated so eloquently that Game 3 win, it was Tian as the setup, the damage like you're talking about, the carry of Xiaohu coming through with it. This game, it's the other half of that engage setup, the other half of that damage dealing. It's Hong's Blitzcrank constantly finding advantages for Light, and then him on the Jinx, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 on those rockets to bring it home. That is how Weibo Gaming are going to be ultra competitive in the LPL.
Yeah, fortunately for Light and Weibo, there were a lot more than just 3 rockets going out too. In that, a lot of
Yeah.
clicks and fire coming down from Light. But hey, honestly, again, like for Weibo, some positives. Ultra Prime, also some positives. We saw RosieLove really kind of struggle in Demacia Cup. Saw Junhao struggle in Demacia Cup. Saw some better looks from them today. Still don't think we saw a great game 3 or 4 from either of them, but hey, at least that game 2, you can always take that, say, hey, we beat a legit LPL team with a comp that we were able to press our R keys, go in, make plays. They did so. So hopefully they can take that and somewhat run with it as they try and stay competitive in this group.
Lot to take away. I'm with you there, Cubby. Takeaways, though, into our final potential player of the game. It's, I will hear the Hong arguments as the setup guy this game, but a Deathless Jinx performance, it's just going to take it.
Yeah, probably. I think this one can go to Light, and that's okay. He had some really good zaps and rockets in there, and just really didn't miss position. I don't think he was pressured all too much, but didn't miss position. And yeah, I mean, that's what happens. Like, I really just don't like the Xayah pick on 3. I think that you're just signing up to get outranged in that game. And you got to find something to at least match the range or pressure the Jinx, which was not done. I think it was a Jhin angle for sure, just to help set up Kindred, at least be able to outrange, buy some space, and help other people get in there. Instead, no, go Xayah. Syndra ends up finding her way into the draft. You're incredibly outranged in both mid and AD, and saw that really provide difficulties for Ultra Prime in that game 4.
Even if it's not Jhin, I think that is no spot better to lean towards one of those mages, mostly because you locked Kindred in the jungle, right? You don't have a marksman worry, so why not go for a Hui here? Or a Ziggs. I know both are kind of immobile and can be under threat of this Nocturne sort of Blitzcrank combination, but so is a Xayah. So it's an evil nonetheless. We get a look at the post game here, and yeah, it's just Weibo waking up after that Ultra Prime loss. It's pretty similar, a little bit longer of a game, but Weibo in dominating fashion.
Yeah, and worth noting that with this win, Weibo locked themselves for playoffs. So really important that they were able to actually pick this one up. Look to, of course, take the 3-0 group and try and help themselves with the seeding in that. But still, really solid performance, especially from the bot lane in the last game from Weibo. Really nice to see the mid jungle step up, and then the bot lane step up and just dominate a game in that game 3 and 4. Again, a lot of positives to take away. I think wave 3, they forced the Ultra Prime bot lane off, and man, it really felt like things were one-sided from there.
Yeah. Weibo, one-sided after they got themselves reacclimated. Seeing the highlights of this one, love the cinematic love for Hong and Xiaohu in these moments, right? There are players of his caliber that have been legendary in the game for so long. They have those feared champions, and I think it was so awesome that we got to see his Syndra to close out this series. It truly is one of a kind. Even after a rework, meta shifts, it's always reliable for this guy.
Even him role swapping, still able to pull into the top lane.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to Syndra and Lucian, like Xiaohu, him on those 2 champions, unbelievable. This was the play that for me was just ballistic from him. Just the TP in, the angle that he finds on the scatter. Yes, he's late to the fight, but he was there honestly right in time just to follow up on everything else. And as the fight goes down, He waits for his moment, sets things up, and make sure he takes everyone down. Oh, shout out to Breathe, too. Actually, Breathe had a really nice wall up in there. Set that up. I missed that the first time around, Slayer. Good to have more replays in here.
We love replays.
Yeah, and then we're going to see Xiaohu lose his mind,
Yeah, I think, that is like the most Syndra thing to do, right? Is once you like scale up and you have like a couple items behind you, you get to that 100 splitter mark where you get execute on that already over-torqued Unleash Power. You kind of can do this thing where if you flash and hit a Q, you can ult nade carry and they don't get to play the game. So I got to think that's what Xiaohu was trying to do to send that message to Wako.
Yeah, I think that they were trying to track Wako's flash. They just failed to. That's my one logical explanation as to why we saw Xiaohu lose his mind. But you know what? Made for an interesting fight for us, Slayer. So we can't complain here in the LPL as we continue to cruise through our group stage. At least one team out in this group. And we'll see if we can lock any more here pretty soon. I'm not exactly sure what the schedule is, but of course, these best of fives, I mean, I've never seen a season start with just raw, straight up best of fives. Heroes draft right off the bat. And it has made for some very interesting games.
It's feast or famine, put up or shut up, whatever metaphor or analogy you want to throw out. That is how, brutal this LPL split can be for some. So fun for us to watch as we get one more look at our dashing LPL casters. As we await the likely MVP. Oh, they gave it a Hong. Okay.
All right.
LPL voters aren't just reading stats anymore. We're actually... those stats are disgusting too, but I mean...
Both supports got MVPs. We
did.
Appreciate our supports. I like that, Sometimes supports, they don't have econ. They don't make the super flashy, like double, triple, quadra kill plays. If they do, they're probably trolling. But no, we have to honor the utility. And I mean... Hong was the one that, we talked about what they forced the Ultra Prime bot lane off, wave 3 or 4. They swap and then force them off again, find kills. That was really through Hong on the Blitzcrank. Mm-hmm. It was so good that he's the one that got them in control of that lane. He blinded this pick instead of opting for R5 support too, which I think gives him some more brownie points for this game overall. Really well done by Hong. And yeah, really nice game from him.
Brownie points, draft points, all the points being dished out by us today on the cast, but it's certainly been a fun one. We'll end out here by looking a bit ahead. You talked about, Cubby, what the schedule looks like. I want to focus on quickly what the time off looks like, especially for Weibo, who, thanks to Alk, one of our awesome admins here at the unofficial LPL English broadcast, confirmed that this win for Weibo locks them into those playoffs, so congratulations to them. But, Cubby, they do not have a match because of the break we're going to take towards the end of January. They will not play again in the LPL until February 9th, and that match will matter for maybe seeding, maybe not at all. That's a lot of time. That is nearly a month.
Yeah, that's crazy. Man, I will say, I mean, the break is for good reason with the new year being celebrated, but
yes,
man, that's I guess they got some time to recoup and recover before we see him on stage again.
How many micro patches we can get in that time? Who knows? But
hopefully not too many.
Hopefully not too many. The next game
anti-patch
coming for Ultra Prime will be against JDG. JDG, their first appearance of the LPL. Yep, next Monday, depending on where you are, Monday, Tuesday, whatever you want to play with the time zones. But tomorrow, we will get to look at that AL team you talked about with Tarzan, and they will be taking on LGD. So that one will be a fun one. I believe that is one of our first looks. Yeah, it will be the first look at Group A.
I see Tarzan on the Rift. I wouldn't watch the game. Tarzan is
that's
a beast and a baller. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with him. And then, honestly, the next games that we'll see in this group, we'll see if JDG in their early trip to Cancun post-Demacia Cup was good for them as they bounce back in the LPL. And hopefully make a better splash and split one than they did in the Demacia Cup, where it was very disappointing.
LPL not disappointing in any regard so far. We've had the fun rise of Thunder Talk. We've had some more competitive series than thought. And the new look Weibo continuing to be a titan of the LPL and potentially
pretty decent. Yeah. There are some holes that will be exploited by better teams, but there are also some really good plays being made by players that we know are elite. So we'll be interested to see them continue to grow as a team and patch things up.
Hey, I'm glad you used that word elite, Cubby, because I think before we close out of here, we have some very elite supporters to shout out.
So we actually have a single elite supporter so far. Aaron Superis. Their pledged financial contribution helps us level up the broadcast and give back to the cast and especially the crew who strives to bring you the English LPL product every day. Shout out to Aaron for helping us out. And also, if folks want to join the Ko-Fi and be an elite supporter, check the chat. We got commands being dropped by our bot. And please do. We have so many hands that do not even show up on broadcast. Some folks on broadcast are going above and beyond in terms of productions and socials. A lot of people on this team help make things really smooth for Slayer and I when we show up and cast on the days. So shout out to everyone helping us behind the scenes and everyone who's been helping support this channel in the early season. It's been a really fun project for me to be a part of and been a joy to see everyone else really just love the LPL as we do our best to bring you all the action.
It's been an absolute pleasure today. Who's one I had circled on the calendar, getting a cast with my good friend Cubby. It's been a long time coming. It's been a blast as one of the newcomers at LPL Unofficial English. Hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast. But for myself and Cubby, it is nearly 5 in the morning. So we are going to close this thing out and attempt to do this thing, call it sleep. Like we talked about tomorrow, same start time as you had tonight. LGD versus Anyone's Legend. You'll have both Rafa and all taking you through that one. So make sure to tune in and give us a love as we continue to figure out what the LPL looks like in its new format. But until then, enjoy the day, the night, whatever time it is for you. Stay safe and take care.